Afternoon all. Many of you enjoyed yesterday's session on chess tempo. I thought why not carry on a little bit today for a few minutes. My current rating is 1954.6. Okay, I've got the nickname King's Crusher, believe it or not. Okay, let's start again. So, knight d5. Okay, is queen d1 on? Probably not. That's ridiculous. Rook d6 looks good. Except for queen f6. That would be a bit of a blunder. So, okay, queen takes d5 as a legal move because the knight's pinned. Takes check, and then maybe rook h1. Maybe that's the idea. Just queen takes d5. I don't want to try and guess too much, and I think if I spend more time, you guys can try and work out as well. So I'm not going to worry so much about spending more than a minute on each one. I would assume queen takes d5 is a good move here. Although rook d6, hang on a sec, rook d6, there's no knight f6 or queen f6. Where is the knight going? Is there anything wrong with rook d6? I don't think there's anything wrong. Oh, hang on, there's knight f6, and if rook takes d4, there's knight takes h5 check. Which leaves the simple idea, just playing for rook c1 and rook h1, if that's ruled out. Rook d6, knight f6, rook d4, knight h5. So, okay, I'm just going to take here. Keep looking. Oh dear, then it must be this other move. For some reason, then now it's working. Is rook d6 working? Knight takes f6, oh, there's queen takes d1 check. Queen takes d1 check here. That's winning the house. Okay, so gone up to 1958.7. Okay. What about here? Isn't just rook d7? It looks obvious to play rook d7. This bishop's a bit trapped, isn't it? Maybe knight b7. Where is it going? If bishop c7, then rook d7. In fact, forking these two. I think knight b7. Okay, what about just taking the bishop? If that was a desperate move. I did get that right, yeah? Okay, so 1980. Alright, so it's check. The rook's some pre from the bishop. I don't know, rook d8, king takes c2, there's queen a4 maybe. And then if king b2, there's bishop e5. So maybe just rook d8 here. I don't know, king c1. There's a queen b4 check though. Isn't that even better? Queen b4, king moves. It looks terrible to move it to d3. If it moves then to c1, there's at least queen a3. Queen b4 looks best actually. Right, so queen a3, king b1, king b1, then what? Right, isn't that actually knight takes e3, giving up the rook, but check, so takes, and then can that be used, the knight on c3, queen c3, king b1? And then what? Okay, what about instead, let's say check, king b1, knight e3 again, that's not particularly good. What about just bishop e5 here? Isn't that good? Bishop takes, oh, bishop b2, there'll be king takes. What about another sort of discovered attack? Oh, I think I've got it actually. Knight a3, bishop takes, then there's queen c3. Because the knight will be stopping the king going to b1. Just knight a3 check. Here. Now queen c3. Okay. This is fun. So, okay. So knight d4 is played. I don't know, e6 would force something interfering. If knight e6, queen f7. So if queen e6, bishop c4. If bishop c4 immediately, what's wrong with bishop c4 immediately here? Bishop c4 immediately. I mean, it looks like a good move, simply bishop c4. Oh, there's knight e2, you could just take. What's wrong with bishop c4? Knight e2 could just take. I can't see what's wrong with that. I don't think there's anything needed for brilliancy. Alright. Okay. So here, I don't know, rook takes g3 or rook e3. Oh, okay. So, okay, rook takes g4 doesn't seem to do much. Rook e3, say queen e3. h5 looks like a strong move. If there's no rush to do anything, just h5. I mean, how does white defend against h5? If we're looking for more forcing stuff, well, I don't see the point of any more forcing stuff. I'll just play h5 here, and if g5, then something like rook e4 to h4 looks good. I think I'm going to give h5 a shot, because the queen can't challenge the queen on f3. Failed. Rook g e6. Oh, that is better, maybe, because rook takes and rook takes. Okay. Okay, next problem. Okay, so king sort of, is it vulnerable? The bishop can go somewhere, or is there okay, how to protect that rook? Was it needed? That just knight c4 takes, bishop b2 check, king b1, then what? Okay, so bishop g4, bishop a8, bishop takes d1. Again, I don't really know what's point there. Okay, so bishop b7, bishop takes b7. It looks kind of unpleasant, this position. Okay, black's a piece up currently, but this really kind of dangerous pawn and threats like rook e8 and bishop a8. What about just bishop g4? If bishop takes a8, bishop takes d1, rook d1, knight d1, king d1, rook a8. Just bishop g4 surely, because that's actually protecting a8 and attacking something. Problem failed. Oh, knight takes d1. Okay, knight takes d1, rook takes d1, rook a7. Oh, sorry, that's the worst move. To get the best move. No, I have no idea actually. Sorry, knight takes d1. Oh, it's +4 for black then. So rook a7. Actually, can we just play through that? Rook a7 here. And just drop back. Okay. And then play rook e7 to defend against that pawn. Okay. So knight takes d1 is the strongest. So what I played isn't really up there. That's just about equal, because it takes. There'll be rook e8 here. This is very dangerous threat. I see. Check. It's only a draw by perpetual, apparently. So knight takes d1, and what if like rook e8 here? Then I suppose something like maybe bishop would move. Okay, let's go to the next problem. So at 1940 at the moment, I wonder if I can get to 2000 with some precise solutions. Here, queen d6, bishop e5. What about just queen f3? That looks dangerous. If king h2... is there anything more dangerous? I don't know what happens after king h2. Oh, there's knight f1 check. Okay, king g1. Don't know there. So let's go back to this queen d6, bishop e5. There's queen d3. What about just knight f3 here? The queen protects bishop with queen d1. Then what? Okay. Probably queen f3 intuitively looks kind of dangerous. Queen f3. I'll go for queen f3. That was apparently the first move. But knight f1, king g1. Then what? Okay, so knight f1, king g1. What about... Isn't that just queen f4 check, winning the bishop? Let's take the bishop here. Okay. Now here, that's bishop b5 check. I have king g1, bishop d4. Isn't bishop b5 check crushing without looking too much at anything else? Bishop d4 check looks... Hang on, there's bishop e3. So what about bishop h2 check? Not to allow... because then there's rook e1. Okay, gone up to 1942. Try and sort these out quickly as well as accurately, which is tricky. So here, g takes, bishop takes. What about queen h5 or just, I don't know, g4? With the idea of queen h5 and knight g3. And then queen h5, g4, g takes. There's nothing much else going on, is there? g4, knight e5, say. Then what? Maybe queen h5. Something more forcing again, like knight g3. Well, the king just move as well as hg. So maybe it does start g takes, bishop takes. Then what? There's knight f2, king g1, knight h3 check, winning the bishop on f4. Okay. 1954.7 my rating at the moment. So as bishop g8, king moves. Then what? Bishop f7 just loses the queen then. Queen g6 is ridiculous. King takes, bishop f7 is not doing anything. What about knight f6? G takes, is forced. Queen f7, king h8. Queen f6, king h7. Then... No, how does that attack continue? But knight f6, in principle, looked pretty dangerous there. Knight f6 check. Bishop g8, king h8. I assume there's nothing there. Queen g6, queen g8. I think knight f6 check takes. Bishop g8, king g7, queen f7, king h8. I think it must be, I guess it must be knight f6 as the first move here. I'll try knight f6. Failed. It's actually knight g5, of course. Knight g5 takes, queen h5 is mating. Oh dear. Okay. Alright, so here, okay, what about queen g6? As king f8, the king's running. Queen e7 is queen f1, king h2, queen f2. That can't be right. So going round the roundabout here, queen g8, king e7, queen e8, king f6. I don't know. Interesting. Okay, say bishop g6 has the threat of queen f7 though. So bishop g6, queen f1, king h2, queen f2, king h3. That can't really be the continuation, surely. Okay, if that can't be the continuation, then queen g6, king f8. Then what happens? Queen g8, king e7, queen e8, king f6. No, queen e6. It's going around the roundabout there. No, this has got me. Queen f1 cannot be allowed to happen, surely, with queen f2. Now, okay, let's see if this was the first move. It is the first move. So queen d6, king f7. Then what? Nothing. I don't know. Do we chase this king then? I guess we have to chase the king with queen g8. Is there anything strong with queen h6, king f7? No. There's no bishop. Let's try this. Failed. Queen takes. Oh, it was queen f6. The idea to defend f2. Queen f6. Okay, very good. Oh there. 1933.8. Bishop f6 threatens rook c8, or bishop h6. Then there's knight takes. f3. No, bishop h6 might be good. But then it might be f6, check, king f7, and escaping. So bishop f6 might actually be better. And it keeps an eye on d8. Let's say bishop f6. Giving up material. Failed. Oh, I left my bishop and pre. Oh, the move here was actually rook d1. Oh, a little bit of subtlety needed. Rook d1, not the obvious rook c4. It's losing the bishop. Oh dear, my rating's gone down. 1921. I don't think I'm going to get to 2000 at this rate. I think I need much greater accuracy. Okay. Couple of double checks. Knight f6, king g7. Queen h7, king takes. Okay, knight g5, king g7, queen h5, king f6. Knight g5 or knight f6, that's the question. Knight g5 might be useful for the rook coming in. Knight g5, king g7, queen h7, king f6. In that position, isn't there queen h6? I'll go for knight g5. Ooh, so there's queen h7, king g5, rook e5, rook f5. Do we start with queen h7 or there's... I think it must be queen h7. Rook f5, h4 check. King g4 f3. I'll try this. Whoa. So there's rook e5 or there's h4. Or there's queen g7 indeed. Queen g7, king f5, there's rook e5 mate. If king h5, rook e5, rook f5, g4 check. No, rook e5 immediately. Or queen g7. I don't know. Rook e5, rook f5. h4 check. And queen, go back to queen g7 there. King moves to say h5, Rook e5, rook f5. G4 check looks strong. But the back row's weak in that position. So what about something like h4? There's king f6. Hang on a sec. Queen g7. King h5, g4, king h4. Queen h4 check, king g4. Queen g7. No, this is too much. F4 check after rook f5. It's too tricky. What about just h4? There's king f6. I think I'm going to have to punt something. I don't know, rook e5 doesn't look right. I hate to guess here. Oh dear. But I think I'm going to. Let's try queen g7. Okay, that might be the first move. So rook e5, rook f5, g4. The back row will be weak though, so I'm going to get mated because there's bishops on that. Rook e5, rook f5 takes. G4, king h4. Nope. No idea, actually. Not just h3 threatening g4. No. King can go to h4. I'll give rook e5 a guess. Nope. There isn't the point of queen h7 and h4 check, is there? I'll try g4. Oh, it is g4. So queen h6, rook, queen h6, king g4, h3 check. Then king f3, there's rook e3. Maybe that's it. Queen h6, there's h3 check. Finally. I think I need to be a bit quicker though. Okay, so isn't there just queen f3 here? Be losing that ending though. But I can't see anything else. So it takes. Looks unpleasant actually after losing that knight. Well, there's knight g6. Well, that's knight g6. There's queen d4 check. Well, actually, why can't just rook takes f4 be played here? Then queen d5 check and queen e6. Just rook takes f4. So here, queen d5 or queen d1. Probably queen d5 check. Right, so queen e6. Now, doesn't that safeguard most things? Good move, but not the best. So what about check and trying to win the rook? If I play another check, well, there's queen g5 winning the rook. Okay, I can win the rook. Okay, 1927. There's not too much hope of getting to 2000 here. What about bishop g2? I'll get mated. Rook g2, rook d4, and then rook h7 mate. Unless queen c1. There's something really spectacular here. Bishop g2, rook g2, rook d4. No. What about just queen f5? That can't be right. G takes queen f6. And then where would white be checking? Maybe g5. Okay. So this is tricky, as many of them have been. Maybe just taking, because black would be a piece up. Check on f6. King moves. Queen g5. There's no rook g7. I'll just take this. Isn't in fact rook g7 here just big threats like well, it stops all the foreseeable checks. Okay, so here, so 1935, let's try and speed up. Is it knight e6, king f7, say? I'll win the queen. Queen g6 first. Anything stronger? There's, I think knight e6 must be the first move. Queen d5, bishop d5. Can't see anything else apart from knight e6. Okay. So knight takes, pawn takes, knight d5. What about just queen takes d5 here? Okay, 1934. F5 check, king e5, knight f3. So what about just knight g4, stopping g4 and then threatening f5 check? Which would be kind of mating. So knight g4 I think is a good move. Right, so that was desperate surely. I just take that. Okay, 1941. Maybe there's some hope of getting to 2000. Okay, so playing black, going out the board. Sorry, playing white. F7 is rook d6. Which is check. What about just rook h7 first? Then if king g8, there's f7. I think rook h7. Alright, so can I just play just rook h8 here? Or is f7 better? f7 is probably better. King f8, rook h8 is mating. If king d7, then there's f8 queening. That's pretty quick. Oh, because I thought the c2. Okay. Oh, isn't d7 mating? Rook d7, rook h8 is mate. Okay, 1938. Right, it's bishop on the diagonal. So, queen h2 springs to mind. Rook h2, rook g1. Nope. Rook b5, bishop b5. There's rook g4 there, winning the rook on h1. Maybe that's best. After rook g4, I'm not sure where the queen would go. Mind you, there's rook d7, but there's queen d7. So maybe rook b5 is best. Rook b5, I'll give it a shot. Rook g4. Doesn't that just win the rook? There's anything stronger. There's no queen c3 check or anything. Rook g4. Okay, you take here. Take this guy. I can take the rook here. I don't need to take that. Okay. Okay, 1946 after that. Okay, if I take the rook, queen takes. I'm not taking actually the rook on d7. What about queen e1? There's probably queen g5 mate. It's not too hot. So taking on d7. That's probably an idea. Queen d7, queen e1, queen c8, queen f1. That looks dangerous for the white king. So I think taking on d7 first. Whoa! Blimey, how did that obvious move not come to mind? Just take the queen out. Check, there's king h5. Okay, for some reason I didn't even consider queen. Okay, too quick. Right. So, rook a5, queen b7. There's queen c5 here, attacking the rook. Rook moves somewhere. Does that really help? What about bishop c6? That would be handy actually. So queen c5, followed by bishop c6. Because then there'll be 2 on the bishop on a5. So queen c5, the rook moves, and then bishop c6. I think that's pretty good. Oh, okay. So queen takes b4 here. But if rook b8, then just maybe rook b1. Okay, 1940. Isn't this just standard? Rook h1, king takes queen h5, queen h2, king f1, queen h1, king g2, queen g2. I think it's standard rook sack. Right. Okay, so alright, queen a4, queen e3. Bishop e4, losing the queen. Go back to queen a4, queen e3. There's knight g2 check. King moves, say to f2, queen a4, king takes. There's nothing special, was there? There's anything really special here. Maybe just taking on c3 and knight c2 check. That looks pretty good actually. Just taking on c3 for knight c2. Or there's just knight c2 immediately. Which is better. Hold on a sec. King would move to f2 anyway. 2 rooks, bishop and 2 knights. So is knight c2 any better? Why would that be any better? I'm not really sure. What about just knight? Actually, knight c2 and queen a4. If queen takes on c2, takes bishop e4. Possibly the idea is to win the knight on a4, so I'm going to go for knight c2. So if queen a4, queen c2, actually knight takes protects the queen, of course. 1943. Okay, so knight e4 check, king d3. There's knight f2, so if king e1, bishop e2 immediately. I think it has to be knight e4, king e1. Knight e4 check, king e1, and then take it from there. Try that, knight e4. I can't see a queen move or any other move being that particularly useful. Okay. So bishop takes e2 here. Actually, it's been a while and there's some noises from the kitchen. So I think I'll make this the last problem, but let's see if we can get it. Bishop takes e2, king e2. What about just knight c3, queen c3 check? Can't be that. Bishop e2, king e2, knight f2, king takes. There's rook f8 at the end of that. Or just knight f2, king f2, rook E8. How is E3 defended? I'll go for that. So rook E8 simply. How is white defending E3? Oh, desperate rook sack. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that and got something out of it. I'm still at 1944.9. Please leave any comments or questions on YouTube. And so it's a great site, chesstempo.com, for improving potentially your tactical skills. Thanks very much.